Happy New Year, mutants. I'm Mish, Chief Mutant from the Mutation Station, a podcast that embraces genetic mutations. Catch it on Spotify and Apple. I'm going to do a video on every episode I've done thus far and any future ones, but I first wanted to clear up some misguidance and misinformation on chimerism. Chimerism is a fascinating biological phenomenon in which an organism is composed of cells derived from two or more distinct genetic origins. It can occur when an embryo absorbs or incorporates cells from a sibling embryo during early development, or it can occur naturally when the egg or sperm that form the embryo contains cells with different genetic makeups, resulting in a single embryo with a mix of genetic material. Now, there are only 3 living confirmed natural chimeras. Although science can create a chimera via organ transplant, they're only usually found in autopsy, and that there are only 100 recorded natural chimeras in medical literature throughout history. But there does seem to be a lot of people on social media claiming to be chimeras. So I just wanted to set the record straight on the misdirection out there, because I'm currently going through some testing, but even with all of my symptoms, I can't call myself a chimera until a geneticist confirms it. So if you want to know why some professors think I'm a legit candidate, I go through it on my podcast in detail. The likelihood of being a chimera is slim, so slim. But the medical profession think there is something in all of my individual issues. So I'm hoping that the genetic testing may uncover a source of these symptoms. Whether it's chimerism or something completely different, it'd be great to be treated as a whole rather than those sort of individual issues. Now, as I mentioned before, there are only 3 confirmed living natural chimeras, with only 100 ever recorded. But if you look at social media, there are hundreds, if not thousands of people claiming to be chimeras without ever being legitimately tested. Now, I'm all for whatever floats your boat, as long as you leave children and animals alone. You want to call yourself a chimera? So be it. But as I'm an advocate for embracing your uniqueness, some of these people have super cool mutation in individual conditions like heterochromia or polyiosis, where a patch or sometimes half of your scalp, eyebrow, eyelashes, whatever, is blonde or grey and different to the rest of your hair. This is so cool, and I just think it'd be so fantastic if these people, instead of claiming to be chimeras without any proof, they could educate people on their mutation and possibly help identify it for other people with the same condition. How do I know they haven't been tested? Because believe me, there would be a lot of excitement and hype about a natural chimera being found. I know, and I've not even been confirmed yet, but there's talk of medical journals, publicity, all that sort of stuff. So let's look at some of the claims that people think that they're chimeras. Polyiosis. As mentioned, this is really cool, and I've done podcast episodes on all these individual mutations. But if you think of Cruella de Vil from 101 Dalmatians and her two-toned hair, if it's natural, then it's polyiosis, a mutant gene, not chimerism. It's where the skin has less melanin and does not give the hair follicles a colour. It can be scalp, eyebrow, eyelashes, and even pubic hair. Midline birthmarks, or just large birthmarks. I have a patch of skin similar to that on my midline, but a midline birthmark is just that, a birthmark. It can cut your abdomen right down the middle, vertically or horizontal, and make your stomach or back appear two-toned. This could actually be nevus simplex, salmon patches. These are flat, pink or red marks that can appear anywhere on the body, including the midline areas. However, any large birthmark should warrant further investigation. But if your GP isn't concerned, then it's just a beautiful birthmark mutation and not chimerism. But what about the birthmarks that appear in the sunlight and remain lighter as the rest of the skin gets darker? This could be one of 3 things. It could be nevus anemicus, and this is a patch of skin that appears lighter than the surrounding area, not because it has less pigment or melanin, but it's because the blood vessels are constricted, reducing blood flow and hence the redness of the skin. Or it could be hypopigmented birthmarks, and this is actually where the skin does have less pigment and melanin than the surrounding tissue. They may become more noticeable when the surrounding skin tans, as the contrast between the pigmented and the hypopigmented areas increase and make it really obvious. Or it could be a form of vitiligo. This is a condition where the skin loses melanocytes, the cells responsible for producing skin pigment. The affected areas appear white, especially when the surrounding skin tans, and of course Michael Jackson was famous for that. Heterochromia. There are people on social media with heterochromia who say this automatically makes them a chimera. No. Episode 1 of the Mutation Station tells you that heterochromia is an excess of melanin in the eyes that changes one eye colour or a portion. And so while heterochromics are super cool, because you can see I have it, they aren't chimeras. But what about the people who are on social media saying that they have absorbed their twin? First of all, how on earth would they know without testing? I can't believe people just kind of believe them. Some say their mother was pregnant with twins in one ultrasound, but by the second ultrasound, one baby had disappeared. This is actually a common case, but it's not chimerism. In the majority of these cases, the second baby is either expelled by the mum, or more often than not, it's actually the mother who absorbs the twin, not the twin. And she can, in fact, have what is called microchimerism, where she retains a different DNA for a duration during the pregnancy and sometimes for a few months afterwards, but it goes away. What the surviving twin may experience could be vanishing twin syndrome. So vanishing twin is where the embryo is reabsorbed by the mother, but the surviving twin can live their life feeling a sense of loss or a sense of having someone else without them knowing why, particularly if they were identical twins. It is a condition and worth investigating if you feel that way. The other important thing to know is that the ancestry sites cannot tell you if you're a chimera. They just don't do that. And I get that in some countries, particularly America, healthcare is expensive, but there are people on social media who spend their money on these ancestry sites and then other sites trying to put their DNA in there, looking for answers, when in fact they could have just spent money on getting properly tested, but I suppose it's content for them and people just believe them. Anyway, my point is, if you think you have chimerism, speak to your GP as the first port of call. If there is something there, they'll help refer you to the right people. Some of these symptoms could be a result of chimerism, but until you're tested, it's just a gene mutation. There's a lot of important research that can be done with chimerism, so the more the merrier. But don't lead your audience up the garden path with this misinformation. I don't think anyone is willfully lying or anything like that, but there's a lot of misguidance around this. Have a listen to my podcast if you want to know what steps I took to get tested. It was a long process of elimination, but whatever your condition, embrace it. A gene mutation can be a really beautiful thing because it's rare and people love to learn about it because you are unique. I'll keep you updated on my progress in further podcast episodes. Until then, bye for now. Bye.